But I don't know. Maybe I'm putting her out of her misery. I knew somewhat about the Titans. Yeah, I took a Greek history class when I was in college, and I learned about I learned about like the hierarchy of the Titans and then the Olympians. Whoa. We had to read the Iliad as well as learn Greek history while we read it. Chat, dude, we have so many smart people here. It's crazy. I honestly don't understand why probably because I'm an idiot. I'm like funny. I'm entertainment. I'm like Chris Farley. People just like to watch me fall over. What weapon should we do? I could do a shield again. We could go with the sword again. I've only done one run with the sword. Let's do another sword. Fuck it. I've only done one. Might as well. Shut up. No, you shut up, Viata. Yeah, my spear has all the upgrades.
Got some kind of fishing pole or what?
So my spear is pretty great for the upgrades. I don't like the gun. I don't wanna. I don't like the gun. It's really boring. This is my thing. If I want to play a game with a gun, I'll go play a game with a gun. If I want to play as the son of Hades,
conversation with your chamber walls
why am I going to play with a gun?
Charon, boy.
I don't like the ranged weapons either. I'm just terrible at them. Yeah.
Quite like you.
Same, Gluttony. Same. Absolutely terrible at them. I tried the bow, and I just didn't even have fun. Like, I wasn't just bad at it. I did not have fun with it in any means, which kind of sucked. I just want to have fun, you know? I don't really care about, oh, I could have given him a juice.
It is my solemn wish, dear Zagreus, that eventually we settle up our differences with your Lord Father. But for now, we fight.
I fucking love the shield. The shield, I think I wore it out for myself. I did way too many runs with the shield. I got bored. No. Sure. Sick. Later, Gator. Oh, I did the sword again. I didn't do the shield. Oh, okay. I mean, I thought I grabbed the, the spear. The spear? Didn't I grab the spear? No, I didn't, because I said we hadn't done enough runs with this. Just kidding. No, I didn't.
More trouble.
Darkbane, this game's fucking phenomenal, dude. Very much suggested. It's really fun. And I still haven't got sick of it. If anything, I'm tired of the boss fights just because they're exactly the same every time, but everything else is so varied. Any money? The sword special is really good. The sword is really good. Oh yeah, I did one run with it yesterday before I did what is it? Phasmophobia. Before I did Phasmophobia with the Nocturnal guys. I played with the sword one round. It was real fun. I got all the way to the end. I don't remember. Like doing those little dungeons, I fucked myself or something. My dog barked for no reason. Weird. Money! Money! I'd be that fury. Money, please! Dude, Eliza, I was talking to Zeke. If you want to get it, if you, me, Zeke, and someone else, I mean, Zeke said he'd play. That would be fucking fun. Note, oh, done. That's our group. We can play it. Dude, I'd be so down. Zeke said he'd be totally down. He trusted me when I told him it was good.
All right.
He actually trusted me on a game. Hell yeah, dude. That'd be so much fun. Do you think Andrew would be able to handle playing a game with Zeke, though? Or would that, like, you know, would he have, like, too much of a fangirl moment? Wouldn't that be awesome? Dude. Me too, Gluttony. This game's so good. Oh, really?
It appears as though they are able to hear your prayer.
Tell me if you like it.
How interesting that your thoughts are capable of breaking free.
You liked it?
You cannot.
I want to play more. That game was really fun. Each time you special, get hit for -4. Afterwards, boons have a 23% chance to be rare. For the next 3 encounters, you cannot collect your blood thingies for 12 seconds. Sure. It's at the very beginning.
If that is your desire, you shall call it done.
Is Sunday his first day off? This game is so good. This game is so... Everything I've played by this studio has been phenomenal, to be honest. So, honestly, I hope that this recent success with this game just gives them more resources to make more incredible games like this. Because this is just crack. Thanks, ho. I got juice. If you need a third on Eliza on Sunday, I would very much play with you guys. That game was so much fun. Once I got the hang of what the fuck I was doing, it was really fun. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep my money. Sunday's his first day off. That poor guy. I hope he doesn't have to work with that crazy too much this week. The COVID denying paramedic. Shut the fuck up. Show yourself, and it came out immediately. I don't want to ask you what ghost that was because I don't want to ruin it for myself. We got stuck on like 2 different houses where we couldn't get the ghost to come out. Or like everything would like all the activity would go up really high and everything would be really crazy, like there should be a ghost and nothing would happen. And we were like, fuck, we need to get a goddamn... Oh, no special. I just remembered I'm killing myself with my special. I just remembered that. Don't special, Katie. No special. No special! EMT, that's... Excuse me, I'm sorry. Don't give him the glory. I still don't understand how he's a COVID denier.
Your time.
No special, because I'll kill myself with it. On accident, of course.
Hi, Aphrodite.
Eliza, honestly, I don't know how he still has a job. Like, I would not keep an employee employed that thought like that, ever.
Dear Aphrodite, the incomparable beauty of Olympus is less
Horrifying.
difficult to fathom.
I agree
having already
100%.
met you.
That's so weird.
I'm so grateful to have earned your favor.
Work the front lines, let alone maintain a job in healthcare? What? You can fire people. Yes, you can. You can totally fire for medical employees spreading misinformation, lying. Like if he said it to, he'd have to say it to a patient though. Oh, what do you mean? I'm still reeling after a morning of watching acting in porn intros. Screw jerking it. The laughter I got watching Bathtub Life. Oh, I can't. That's hilarious. They wouldn't. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yes.
My, but don't you come on rather strong.
Oh, it's so, especially because like
Though I can
most
take
medical
much
people
more
have a
of your
union. It's
affections,
so
you
hard to
should
get
see.
anybody fired. That's why I hate unions, because I never saw a union work well in the medical industry. All it did was protect terrible employees from being fired. It's all the union ever did. VA Gamer Girl, you'd have to ask Andrew, dude. It's his partner. It's crazy to me. I don't know. Cheers to Aphrodite's beautiful titties. Their heart stopped. Yeah, I know. I told you about that crazy study I read, Eliza. It's one of the big hospitals on the East Coast, did a bunch of autopsies of COVID patients who had died. And the most common thing they had in common, I can't think of another word for it, is that every single one of the patients that died from COVID, their body was riddled with blood clots. Every single major organ system was littered with blood clots. Unions are good, but sometimes your rep can be shitty. It's just in the medical industry. That's what I'm saying. Like, unions aren't bad. the idea behind unions are great, but in the medical industry, dude, it just protects terrible employees. Like, the employee will do something horrifically against the law, and the rep will get them off on it saying they retired. And it will be like, but then someone else will get fired because they were late to work too many times because their childcare service sucks. You know what I mean? I just saw that happen over and over in the medical, just in healthcare. Everywhere else, I think unions are great. They don't die of COVID, it was blood clots. Yeah. Yeah. Rhiannon knows a lot about unions. She helps out her local union a lot. And I've read, I mean, I see everything you post and stuff. You guys do good work. But the medical industry, like, they're just, I think the problem is that the union people are so far removed from medicine. They have no idea. They're not medical people working in the union. They're just like people coming out of college with a communications degree or something. So they have no idea what they're doing. So when they pass shit, we're like, what the fuck are you doing? But FMLA gets heavily abused too. I shit you not, at Hopkins, every single day shift respiratory therapist had an FMLA form for something. And all it did was protect them, so anytime they called out, they could not get fired. So day shift was fucked 90% of the time. I was getting asked to stay for a 16 to an 18-hour shift off my night shift all the fucking time because day shift people, they just don't feel like coming in. So they'll be like, I'm using my FMLA. For my ankle I broke 7 years ago that still aches sometimes. That's also very heavily abused and broken. The system is broken. It has great purpose. It's very broken. Yeah, see, Rhiannon, they should do that. Like, it should be like ex-medical people that work in it. Yep, yeah. FMLA, it's, what does it stand for? It's a long-term absence. It basically just protects your job, makes it so you can't get fired no matter how many times you call out sick. But I can't remember what it's called. Family Medical Leave Act. Yeah. So like, I could have I can't even think of it. If your leg broke, you can get FMLA because that's an emergency thing. It's gonna get you out of work right away for like 6 weeks, and it will protect you from being fired for those 6 weeks. After that 6 weeks, if you don't come back to your job, there's no guarantee that they can fire you for anything. They can just let you go because you're not there anymore. But some people get this continued FMLA and they just abuse it for years and years and years. Like this one chick, I'm not even shitting you, she had FMLA for an ankle she hurt along like 7 or 10 years ago. And she called out one time to go get a nose job. She used her FMLA to get a nose job. Everybody knew. She came in with a nose job. She used her FMLA. You can't even ask. It's not even legal. It's so, but then you can reapply for it every 12 weeks. And that's what these people do. They live on it. They live on FMLA. These are human beings that without FMLA, they would not have a job. Because they just don't want to work. Like, if you don't want to work, if you really hate your job that much, go work somewhere else. Like, I knew some respiratory therapists, they'd work 2 days a month. Because they had so much FMLA that they would just use. 2 days a month. And they were getting full paychecks. It's crazy. It just blows my mind. But I would work full-time all year and I'd get 2 weeks of vacation. Written up if I came in late once. Like, it's a fucked up system. It always protects people. The only people applying for it, I think that's the problem. FMLA doesn't protect bad workers. The only people that are continuously applying for FMLA over 12 weeks are bad workers. I think that's the problem. Right? Big Daddy, exactly. That's the problem. Unions be like that. I remember learning about how fucked teachers' unions are. All those jokes about tenure are, I mean, not enough gun. Have you heard my story? I've told it a couple times. It's not really a story. My first physics professor in college was like that. First day of school, was like, this is the hardest class on school. It's the #1 most failed class. Try. And he had tenure. He couldn't get fired. He was like in his 80s. He didn't give a fuck. He had no office hours. He was a nightmare. See, and that's the thing. FMLA, the purpose of it is great. It's almost like welfare. The purpose of the welfare system in America was great. It was to help people get back on their feet. But it is so broken nowadays. It's so fucked up. Like, you have to not work at all to get any. And if you get a job, they take it away from you immediately. It's just, our system has good intentions, but does not function well. exactly what Rhiannon said. Yeah, unions are not inherently bad. We have a lot of working rights because of unions, but just like any organization, it can be managed by incapable people. Exactly. And that's what happens when you get people who have no idea what medicine is working for a union for medicine. Like, they don't know what they're doing or what kind of things they're passing or who they're protecting. Like, they don't know they might be protecting someone who has hurt people numerous times, you know? Yeah, I think unions, and you'd be amazing at it because you're not a piece of shit. Like, we need more like you in charge of union stuff like that, Rhiannon. Because I feel like a lot of people in it don't actually care, or they just have no idea what they're talking about. At all. I firmly believe if you do not have medical training, you should be nowhere near medicine. Get the fuck out of it, union or otherwise. Rhiannon's all up in that shit. She volunteered forever, I remember. I agree 100%, Big Daddy. That's the way it should be. Yeah. Is your mom your office rep? I didn't know that, Eliza. Your mom's so badass. You know, your mom and Rhiannon are a lot alike, though. Very strong, like, forward women. That makes sense.
Adoration. So congratulations, love. And here you go.
Thanks, love. Your special deals more damage and inflicts weak. Your call fires a seeking projectile that inflicts charm. It's kind of interesting to listen to because almost all our economy is based on agreements between employers and unions. Yeah. Unions aren't, I mean, the East Coast has none. Not one hospital I worked on the East Coast had any unions. That was really bad. Like, we had no protection. That's why I got paid so bad. Like, I normally don't talk about income or anything like that, but just to give you an example, in Seattle, with a union protecting me and making sure I get yearly raises and I'm actually paid for all the degrees I have, I was making around $38 an hour, which is pretty good in America. It's decent. It's not amazing. I'm not going to be making six figures, but it's livable. When I moved to Hopkins, I was making about $23 an hour. No union protecting you. No one telling you, we got no raises at all. $23, and that was with night shift differential and having 1 million degrees. Like, that's what unions can do for you when they do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And that was unions, because hospitals don't have to give raises at all. They don't have to pay you for shit. It's even worse. If you go to Texas, a respiratory therapist will be making about $18 an hour. I mean, it gets worse. Unions are what ensure raises and you get paid for what you're supposed to be getting paid for. So they do good things. But then the flip side, they don't know anything about medicine. So if someone kills someone, they'll be like, well, it was an accident. They get one shot. You know? It's like a flip side. Is it that low? Could you live off $18 an hour in Texas? And take into account, that's before taxes come out, and that's before all the licensing fees for a respiratory therapist, and buying scrubs, and maintaining all of your BLS, and your NCLS if you're doing babies, and your peds if you're doing, you know, ped care. You have to pay for all of those. Every single one of them is like $300 a year. I don't know. I don't think that would be doable. That just seems like not enough money just for my licensing fees. Like, I have to, when I was a respiratory therapist, I had to maintain $1 million of liability on my head at all times. Really? Damn, Dark Druid, that is cheap. A skilled position should get paid like a skilled position regardless of the cost of living. I agree. I think I have a lot of thoughts on that. Yes, I agree. I'm going to study medicine so I can earn $18 an hour. Sounds like a bad joke. It is. I mean, the worst part of the joke is you get into medicine and you still have to maintain these crazy licenses every 1 year to 3 years to 5 years that cost you money out of your pocket. I only had one hospital that would fund that stuff. Only one. And usually the class was in the middle of the day, so you had to get someone to cover your shift or something. The story we hear here more is that the reason people can't earn a living wage in the US is that their unions aren't strong enough. It's just interesting how the stories are differing. We just don't have any. I mean, you would think that coming from another country that has unions everywhere, that would probably be a direct correlation. But we just don't have any. I mean, they aren't a universal thing yet. Our country really fights unions. I remember when I worked at Hopkins, we actually were required to go to a meeting where a woman talked to us about how to not get brainwashed by someone from a union coming into the hospital and trying to talk to us about unions. I'm not even shitting you. It was like a representative, and the hospital representative had to talk to us about what a union would do to our hospital and how terrible that would be for the environment and blah, 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 blah. It felt like negative brainwashing. It was real weird. Yeah, there's not a lot of it because we're so capitalist. The reason we can't afford a wage is because our country does not require any of that. They don't care. I mean, we barely take care of the people that work, let alone the people that are homeless under a bridge, you know? Right-to-work states have historically lower wages and higher on the job accidents and deaths. Whoa. Mm-hmm. It is less money for the people on top. And let me tell you, that owner of Hopkins has some moolah. He's got a couple houses. We have a required wage, but it is damn low. What is it right now? What is the universal? It's like $5 an hour. Show me somewhere in the U.S. you can live off $5 an hour that is not a tent under a freeway. I'd love to see it. Hi, Doc. How are you? Is it 7 now? I think Arizona is a right-to-work state too. I'm not 100% sure. I feel very fortunate to have the job I have. And again, Satan bless every single one of you that chooses to support this content. No clue what I would do without you. I'd probably be dead from COVID in a hospital. Somewhere. I couldn't live off $7.25. I mean, we have a lot of problems. It starts with insurance companies, really. Insurance companies jack up the rates of everything in medicine. There's no cap on what people can charge for rent. There's nothing. It doesn't, I mean, there's some rent control in some old cities and shit like that. So people can charge whatever the fuck I mean, Katsumushi, I don't know if Kat's still here. Kat actually just went through this huge legal battle with his rental company because they were claiming they were charging him, you know, the rent that was appropriate for the area, but he went and talked to all these apartments in his exact area, his neighbors, and they were paying like $500 less a month. And so he like went to the city and shit, and they forced his apartment building to knock all their rent down and shit. But that, I mean, no one's controlling that. A union's obligated? Yeah. It's $7.25. Texas has lots of places that refuse to pay higher than that. I read a really good quote one time about minimum wage. It was like, if your employer is paying you minimum wage, it means that they would pay you less if they could. That hit me really hard. Again, for those in the back, if your employer pays you minimum wage, they're saying they would pay you less if they could. We don't have laws for minimum wages here. In a lot of ways, there's a lot more state and government involvement in employment in the U.S. Really? Interesting. $11.10 is minimum wage in Colorado. It's actually not terrible. The only reason the minimum wage exists is so that whatever you complain about your minuscule wage, people can't tell you, what'd you expect? It's a minimum wage job. Yeah. You can reply with, well, if my boss could pay me less, he would. $7.50 a month? Wow. Whoa, Silverheart, you were lucky. NJ's was $10 an hour. That's pretty good. I know Seattle's went up to 15 and everybody was pissed about it. They were like, $15 an hour is going to inflate everything. Bitch, your money from Amazon inflated everything. $15 an hour ain't going to inflate shit. Although McDonald's did do a tacky thing, and they actually put robots in to take your order now instead of people because they didn't want to pay it anymore, which is crazy because it's McDonald's, but to each their own. I like it because I don't want to talk to a person, but I don't like why they did it. Cheers. Well, I don't think the U.S. as a whole does capitalisms. It's the people in control that does the capitalisms. Eliza, Seattle was similar. I remember my friend AJ. Now this was back in 2005. His first ever apartment was on Denny Way. If anybody knows that in Seattle, right off the freeway, right off Denny Way. It was like 2 blocks off the freeway exit, right on Denny Way. And it was, yeah. But his apartment, I mean, I shit you not, it was, I mean, no bigger than this bedroom, but eliminate, like, where the bookshelf comes out, that's where the wall would be. His bathroom, I mean, you could not even turn in it. It was so fucking narrow. You had to shower over the toilet. And then the kitchen, there was no kitchen. It was literally a stool in a corner with a plant on it, and he has toaster plugged in on the ground. It was nothing. I mean, literally the smallest, tiniest, cramped space I've ever seen in my life. And it smelled like old people because it used to be a retirement home. And he paid $1,600 a month for that. I remember that in 2005. And I was like, what the fuck? But he had to be able to get to school. He was going to Gene Juarez or whatever for hair school. And he's a very successful hairstylist now. So, like, you know, long-term investments. I get it. But, whoa. NJ is? Wow. I wonder if Seattle's in that. I bet they are. They're just astronomically expensive these days. No, me neither, Rhiannon. And would you want to? Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to. It's not that nice anymore. Like, it's so full of sad homeless people that no one will even talk to because they think they're all criminals. And it's just like, Seattle's kind of sad now. I don't know. It used to have a kind of charm, and I feel like it's losing it or something. Hello, Slurm. How are you? I love when we have these talks. You guys are so real and so smart. And Rhiannon's here, which is great, because she's a fucking union expert. Oh, Viata, I'm sure. Washington's 13. No shit. Wow. It's probably because of the east side. The east side's very cheap. Like Spokane, you can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, beautiful on the park for like $600 a month. Spokane is dirt cheap, but Seattle, that inflation from Amazon and Microsoft has just ruined it. Like Eliza, I don't know if I took a picture of my sister's apartment that she was living in. She's out of it, by the way. She's living with my parents right now, which sucks, but she's getting a new apartment soon. But her apartment was a little bit bigger than my friend AJ's, but it wasn't even a studio. It was like 1 room, and then it had a half wall. Like, literally, the wall didn't go to the ceiling. There was this huge gap. It was like a half wall to enclose the bedroom, quote unquote. And she was paying $1,800 a month. Bad. Rent is crazy. Some places. Considering that I've been unemployed for 10 years and been on different kinds of financial aid, and if I've been living in the US, I'd either be selling myself or be dead in a ditch. Or, you know, rob a federal bank for $1 and get 25 years minimum just for, yeah. People do that in this country. Murgle. Seriously. Did I call your country a shit country? Did I call any country a shit country? Because I am so sorry if I did. I didn't mean to offend, but that's crazy. And I'm so glad you actually have something taking care of you, because Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's what AJ's was too, Eliza. So they're probably, well, Seattle's probably similar. Washington's huge. Microsoft and Amazon made everything expensive. No. The people moving there that work there that make billions. They build mansions on the water. Like, all of Lake Washington is all private land now. You can't even get to the water 'cause it's all bought up. Oh, okay. God, I was like, I really hope I didn't call. I mean, my country, in my opinion, is kind of the leaders. I wish I could be proud of my country because I still love the people of my country. I do truly believe there's a huge population of wonderful humans in the United States of America that want to make change. And I want to be proud of those people. But our government is just crazy. Hi, Mel. How are you? Yes, it would. I would love to be proud of America. I'm always jealous of people that have, like, their flag up. Like, oh, I love my country. Just observations. Me too. Exactly. I'm the same. I am no expert. None of my opinions mean anything. These are all random thoughts of a bipolar, medicated, stoned mind. Please don't take any... I mean, these are just my thoughts. I don't know anything. Just my thoughts.